those lucky enough to be in a position to stay at home, please do so. Each and every one of us plays a role in slowing the spread, and social distancing saves lives. It has saved lives, and it will continue to save lives.
Ivanka Trump there and her family now facing a little bit of criticism for not following that bit of advice right there. The New York Times first reporting that Ivanka Trump and her husband Jared Kushner traveled with their 3 children to the president's golf club in Bedminster, New Jersey, to celebrate the first night of Passover this month.
A White House official tells NBC News the facility Ivanka Trump and her family went to was closed down, and the trip itself was no different than if she had been traveling to work. Joining us now is Sonam Sheth, political correspondent with Business Insider. Sonam, good morning to you. This trip took place despite federal guidelines advising against non-essential travel. Did they really need to take this trip? What are the optics here?
Obviously, it doesn't look great for Ivanka Trump or the White House. But as far as, them flouting the stay-at-home orders to go to Trump's golf club in New Jersey, if you'll pardon the pun, it's kind of par for the course. For this White House and for this administration, they have routinely throughout Trump's presidency either acted against the advice that they've publicly given Americans, or they have done the very things that they've criticized their political opponents for. I think it's very interesting that Ivanka Trump is at the center of this controversy, because she has, for a long time, been seen as the kind of voice of reason in the White House. But this kind of highlights why it's important to look at her actions and not her words, because she often acts, contradictory to the things that she recommends. And so this seems to be another example of that. We have seen throughout this presidency, she, was profiting off of her father's presidency while also calling for harsher ethics guidelines. And so, this is just another example of her acting, the opposite of what she has been urging the public to do.
I mean, to her defense slightly, the motto is to stay at home. If you have multiple homes, isn't that still that you're staying at that home? I guess. I don't know. But President Trump, in the meantime, now appears to be backing an effort to get governors to lift restrictions like social distancing and stay-at-home orders. The president posting these messages, encouraging demonstrators to liberate Michigan, Minnesota, and Virginia, where protesters had erupted. He didn't mention Ohio, by the way, where there were some protesters and having a Republican governor. The president later defending those tweets. Here's a listen.
When you talk about these states, Michigan, Minnesota, Virginia, do you think that they should lift their stay-at-home orders, or can you talk?
No, but I think elements of what they've done are too much. These are people expressing their views. I see where they are, and I see the way they're working. They seem to be very responsible people to me, but it's, they've been treated a little bit rough.
A fair amount of these protesters, though, seem to be Trump supporters. Are there political factions that are driving this?
Of course, yeah. This has been driven by the president, by the right-wing media, and it's now kind of funneled down to the people who support him, some of the core supporters of his base. And it's just really fascinating as you look at this story, because it's not news for Trump to say things that contradict what Democratic officials are saying, but this is the first time that he's done it during a public health crisis, and so there are some serious potential consequences to people gathering in public like this. The other thing that I would note is that one of the biggest talking points that we've seen from the president and from the right-wing media as things have calmed down is that, look at the decrease in infections, look at the decrease in ICU admissions. We're slowly flattening the curve, which means that Democratic officials were exaggerating the length of this crisis to begin with. Well, the fact is, the reason that we're seeing those infections go down is because these measures were implemented in the first place. And so it's really dangerous for the president to now come out and say, we didn't need this to begin with, because this is the reason that things are getting better in the first place.
Sonam Sheth, thanks for spending some time with us this morning.
Appreciate it. There's a lot that scientists still don't know about the coronavirus.